Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Let me also join this august House in wishing former President Nelson Mandela a speedy recovery and say, may the grace of the Lord be with him and his family. Thank you. Honourable Deputy Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Deputy President, Honourable Ministers and Honourable Deputy Ministers and Honourable Members, I think the Deputy President will see that the Speaker has also turned me into a model. I'm modeling a blazer today. Honourable Members, it is a moral imperative that while Members of Parliament are preoccupied with their constitutional obligations, responsibilities and duties towards the people of South Africa, we should at the same time cultivate a positive and constructive attitude of soul towards the realm of officialdom, including all who work for the institution of Parliament. It is neither in the interest of members and their constituencies nor that of the staff of Parliament to serve in an environment where they feel that their interests and aspirations are not met to their satisfaction through inappropriateness of some of the rules and practices within the institution. And as a consequence, feel unfree within their own institution. It was the philosopher Rousseau who said, I quote, obedience of a law which one prescribes to oneself is freedom, unquote. Hence, we believe that the recommendations contained in the post-mortem report on the capacity building workshop 5 to 8 February around the legislative process, rules, code of conduct for members of Parliament will assist the Joint Rules Committee to review some of the rules and draft relevant ones. The situation as it is that the QCF facilitates inputs on the interests of members. It does not implement the decisions it has taken. However, there are other structures of Parliament that implement these decisions, and these significantly reside in the realm of officialdom. That is why, Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Deputy President, and members of Parliament, that is why it is extremely important for all of us to build and nurture a political and administrative commonwealth that is disciplined and ethical. During this current fourth Parliament, after much consultation across parliamentary governance structures, the following structural changes were successfully implemented. The QCF, which had previously met on a quarterly basis, now meets on a monthly basis to address issues pertaining to members' facilities. But I do admit that on a few occasions, meetings had to be postponed, but not without valid reasons. The presiding officer has appointed a co-chairperson from the National Council of Provinces, Mr. R.J. Tau, MP, to ensure institutional-wide inclusivity, as previously the QCF was National Assembly-based. The Secretary to Parliament established a forum support office to provide institutional support across functional departments to support the work of the Quarterly Consultative Forum. The QCF meeting slot in Friday mornings was accepted with some reluctance by members, but later they recognized the need for the forum to meet on a regular basis with input and attendance from all the stakeholders, including the Department of Public Works and the South African Police Service. However, sir, we still face certain institutional challenges that needs to be resolved, e.g., late or lack of feedback in issues forwarded to the Parliamentary Oversight Authority, as House chairpersons are not represented there. Poor response from the parties on matters returned to caucuses for party input. Delays by some service providers to implement decisions of the QCF. Besides the work of the Quarterly Consultative Forum, the Internal Arrangements Office was requested to assist and support the rolling out of many projects during the Fourth Parliament, i.e., the refurbishment of Members' Office project, a comparative study of permit and other medical aid schemes, sport and recreation, members' training or capacity building, reintroducing the parliamentary gift shop, which is almost completed, and the shop should be fully operational in mid-July. We facilitated obtaining on blazers for members of parliament. I think you can see here. The issue of cell phones, laptops, printers to all members. Preparations are now being made for a new rollout of information technology equipment and tools of trade for the Fifth Parliament. And parties are requested to nominate their representatives to serve on the task team to support the Members' Facilities Office. With regard to my Parliament application, the Speaker has already alluded to that. I will not go into it. Because in our culture, it is said, naso khuluma umdala uncane akasabuya akhulume. Awubuyile amuhulu wamnyana asabuya. The handbook on the facilities for members is being reviewed to include the cost of data and a devised contract to the sum of 500 rand a month. This will mean that members will enter into contracts in their individual capacity with any service provider of their choice and will be reimbursed by Parliament in terms of the revised clause in the handbook. Any reimbursement made in this regard are tax exempt, provided the tablet is used as a tool of trade and mainly for business purposes. The deadline for the implementation of this application, the Speaker has already said, is 1st July. And with regard to the digital content delivery, the Speaker again has alluded to that. I will not go into that except to say that this service gives members access to over 2,000 national and international electronic newspapers, journals, e-books, and many other resources. And this scheme is presently being rolled out to House chairpersons, to managers of parliament, presiding officers, as a test phase. Members who are interested, as the Speaker said, to participate in this new program or system are requested to submit their requirements to the parliamentary library so that their specific information needs is customized to their profile for easy access. The tickets, Mr. Mponchana spoke about the tickets. The task team on members' travel facilities has completed its work, and its recommendations were submitted to the POA, which decided that the recommendations be costed first before final approval. With members' capacity building, during the Fourth Parliament, the presiding officers stressed the importance of capacity building of members. And as a result, an induction program for members was developed and implemented in February this year, which included the workshop on legislative process of Parliament, House rules, committee procedures, and oversight, briefings on public participation, ethics and code of conduct for members and members' facilities. A post-mortem report was produced and presented to the presiding officers, and all presentations were posted on the parliamentary website for easy access by members of parliament. Various capacity building focus areas were identified for future training initiatives, and this is an ongoing process. But the question is whether training should be compulsory and should be rolled out on Fridays, considering that Friday is a normal working day, so says the Speaker. The Wellness Office has prepared 2 wellness programs for members of Parliament. One program will be run at Parliament with the approval of the National Assembly and the NCOP programming committees. And the other one will be run through the parliamentary villages through consultation with the Parliamentary Village Management Board. Regarding the villages, in the absence of a functioning Parliamentary Village Management Board at the start of the fourth Parliament, the QCF was mandated by the presiding officers to facilitate inputs from the members of the various village residence committees. The Department of Public Works and the South African Police Service were also requested to provide regular report backs to the Village Management Board. Today, we are pleased to report that the Parliamentary Villages Management Board is now fully functional and must now assist the resident committees also to function effectively. With regard to public works, a process is underway that is still in the villages. A process is underway to ensure stricter access control at the parliamentary villages. All members are to use their permits to gain access into the villages. Similarly, their dependents will be issued with permits in order to ensure that only permit holders gain free access into the villages. These proposals will be submitted to the next meeting of the Parliamentary Village Board this month. However, a concern was expressed by SAPS that tenants do not activate their alarm systems when not at home. This led to a number of burglaries not being detected and prevented in time. The Parliamentary Sport and Recreation Council has approved a request for the renovations of recreational facilities, including erection of gyms in the parliamentary villages. And the Department of Public Works is awaiting funding approval prior to commencing this project. Lastly, the Village Management Board has suggested that an urgent consideration be given to the need for implementing sustainable environmental approaches to the environment at the villages. This could be done through the use of solar-powered geysers and embarking on recycling initiatives. Catering within Parliament has progressively improved throughout the fourth Parliament, following suggestions from members. Mr. Speaker, I'm being told I'm speaking nonsense. The Department of Public Works has set aside funds to upgrade all lifts in Parliament. This project has already commenced and it is expected to be completed by June 2014. In order to minimize disruptions to the business of Parliament, the upgrades will be done in phases. The project scope will consist of replacing all lift components, improvement to the lift speed and efficiency. In conclusion, Deputy Speaker, I want to thank all the presiding officers of Parliament, my co-chairperson, that is House Chairperson Dau, my fellow House Chairpersons, the Secretary to Parliament, and the entire administrative staff, the QCF members who say I'm speaking nonsense, service providers that support the QCF, i.e. Public Works, the SAPS, and lastly, also my party, the IFP, because they released me to come and work with Mr. Speaker. And all other parties for their support. I thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson Skosana.